giving us something that is like we can. The woman is supposed to be a binder. The woman is supposed to be a purifier. He, the woman, the most good part of the master said, women should be carried along. And when I say women, all classes. Without the woman, you cannot be fruitful. You cannot multiply.
It's everything. A refined product. It's a refined product. It's not.
A very good day to you, and thank you so much for always being part of the Woddi Women Talkshow, Woddi for Women of Divine Destiny Initiative. And we are so glad that you have decided to take our time to watch us this beautiful day. My name is Delma Gugrim, and I am not in this studio alone. I'm here with capable people to discuss the topic security, women perspective today. And we are doing this in honor of His Excellency Senator Rochas Okorocha on his 59th birthday. Can we have the audience put their hands together and celebrate? All right, so we are talking about security because it is an issue. If it was all well, then I think if we would sit here, then maybe we would not be talking about it as an issue. So let's start with the executive producer of the program, and then she says I should start that way. So I will go that way. And if you notice, I didn't do any introduction, so I will introduce while they talk. Is that okay? So we will start with CSP Eberendu, security. When we talk about security, what are we referring to?
Security by Webster dictionary definition is when you are free from danger or threats. That's security. But when there is insecurity, is when you are not free from these three elements. And when we talk about security, we have security in different fora. Security involves food, environment, infrastructure, and law and order. And based on what our discussion this morning, we talk about security as it affects the environment and the woman. And if you come to security, the law also takes it up that it is the primary function of the government for the security and welfare of the people and the citizen. So when we come short of security, we hold the government responsible because it's their duty and function by law to provide it.
So we will get into that, the responsibilities. So let's get to find out from Lieutenant Colonel Susan Johnson Diban. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Security to you, what are we referring to?
The safety of an individual. Security does not mean that the government must do it for you. You as an individual, what have you confined yourself with? What danger have you taken care of within the next minute of yourself? And when we talk about the woman aspect of security, she holds the biggest aspect of security, either in government or in her home. So security has to do with you as an individual, knowing that there is a danger somewhere that I have to prevent. Either you are of the government or of the armed forces. Like me, being a retired lieutenant colonel, I used to tell people that security has to do with the individual. When people talk about Boko Haram, bandit, or the individual, where were you? How did you see security? For yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your child. So security starts at home. When a baby cries, the mother runs. In the army, when the place is tough, the woman is there to make it cool. We have seen it and we have practicalized it. So security is the individual himself.
Wow. Brigadier General Florence Yamquis, retired, is with us today. And ma'am, when we talk about being secure out of danger, what are those dangers that we're referring to?
Thank you very much. As the two speakers here have said about defining security, security is when you are free from danger, as you say, and insecurity is the opposite, when you are open to danger or threats. Now, I was happy when I saw in the program that security, the woman perspective, and I am a woman, and I am a security officer. But to add to my qualifications, I am a public health officer. So I will talk briefly on the security, but narrow it to my specialization as a public health officer. We talk of security, food security is there, environmental security is there, cyber security is there, security of life and property is there, just to mention a few. And how does the woman come in with security? I look at it and I say that God, in his divine design, made a woman a special person with security. He created the man and he created the woman. But he felt it necessary that security will start with the woman. Why? As God said, he created the human being, said, go into the world and procreate. And that procreation will come through the woman, that she's going to carry a life and bring forth a life into the world. And doing that, he didn't just throw the life that is going to come into the world into the belly with the intestines and whatever to struggle with food and whatever. He created a special place that life, that fragile life, is going to stay. And he made it securely. That is the beginning of security of life. That place, special place that he created in the woman, called a womb. That fragile life stays there, and the woman nurtures it with the help of God. Nurtures it until it comes to the world. And the security doesn't stop, it didn't stop there. The woman is also entrusted with the security of this life. You women here, and even the men will agree, that the security of this life rests squarely with the woman, with the support of the man, of course, because she nurtures, she gives him food security by breastfeeding. She gives him environmental security, cuddling him, holding him, backing him, and doing all whatnot. Even when as he's growing, if the woman is there to be guiding, don't fall, don't do this. All the security of the baby lies with the woman. So God so respect the woman that he entrusted the security of life in her care. So now, I'm still talking on the woman perspective. Now this life that you have brought into the world is growing and has reached the age to be able to understand good and bad. It is still the responsibility of you, the woman, to start teaching, because you are also a teacher. You are a counselor and a teacher. You begin to teach this child good and bad. The other speakers talk when we were talking of peace. And they say, you see your child doing the wrong thing and you let it go. God is going to ask you, because he has given you that responsibility to teach this child bad from good.
Now, Brigadier, well, let's narrow it down now to the issue of security of life and property and, of course, our environment. And let's get to hear from Comrade Haruna Braibo. Let's get to hear from you. When we are talking about the issue of security, when it comes to life, property, and the environment, and all of that, what have we seen, or what have you seen that has happened in this country that you feel that the issue of security should be taken seriously?
Over the time, we have failed to marry the two major aspects. the family security, which
Yes.
Brigadier has been trying to dwell on, the social security, cum political, I'll marry that together, cum the political security. But the connection is these two are our responsibilities. It gets to a point when the child is mature. Let me continue from where she stopped.
Yeah.
He became cognizant of the environment. He knows the environment very well. That he feels is even by nature is expected to impact in the environment. The question is he impacting rightly or negatively? I will now have a government where CSP was talking about the roles of government. The constitution, the laws are there to not take over from where the family has stopped. But if you produce the wrong into the society, because at that stage, he or she has a free will to decide for him or herself on what to do, either positive or negative. That's where the government take over. How do you mold the society in the way that brings about development to the country or to the states? And the laws now take over from there. If we are not having more for the government to do now, that means the family is failing to produce the right ones. It's obvious now, right now, that we are churning out. Let me cite you an example. We have to tell ourselves the truth. I'm from Niger Delta. A woman in my village went to, right now, I think like 4 or 5 months ago, went to the farm to uproot cassava, sold the cassava to buy an Android phone. And there's a school of Yahoo opposite Federal Polytechnic Auchi. Yes, you register with 50,000 naira. Opposite normal school where you have to go and register your child. You rather go and register your child in that school of Yahoo where they will train him. You went to sell the cassava, you bought an Android phone for him. You empower him and go and collect 50,000 naira instead of buying jump. You go and buy that form for their school. You enroll him there. You'll be staying with all those Yahoo boys and be learning.
I think that's part
At the end of the day, what are you producing? You are giving more responsibility to the government right now. And the family is failing because the mother who is supposed to do the right thing, she's failed, and she has produced a son that has the ability to decide what to do on the internet, and she's even encouraging the son to do the negative. You see the multiplier effect of negative impact from family to the larger society. And we now have a government who feasts for political correctness. All they want to do is power hungry, not to remedy. So to sustain their power, they will begin to feast on your weakness, the weakness they are having in the family ties, to sustain themselves in power. We are spending money. $400 million is being sent. $450 million is being sent to import Tucano jet bombers to bomb human beings who have become terrorists, banditry, who are the outcome of a negative family value. These children. If you spend $400 million to empower Nigerian youth, give them fertile land to farm, drive innovations in their head, and create sensibility in their thinking, they will have a prosperous Nigeria.
And of course, we would like to hear from her own part, the executive producer of the Woddi Women Talkshow, and she is the founder of Woddi. What have you seen women suffer when there is insecurity?
The woman suffers it all. But before I say something like that, I'd like to say that, when I came up with that topic, security women perspective, I'm sure a lot of people would have been asking, what does she mean? And the brigadier, and of course, all of them here have talked about the fact that the woman is key. She also talked about security right from the womb. And I want to also add security, emotional security, security of the mind. Even that child, right from the time that you even have started breastfeeding that child, the child senses is already formed. He is watching you, he is listening, he understands what is happening in the environment. So at that level, we need to secure the mind, the emotion of that child. What is happening today in the society, in the nation, that everybody is screaming about the level of insecurity, of course, starts from the home. Because home, what is happening in the home is an extension of what is happening outside. So if we're able to take care of the home, then of course the nation or the outside, has been taken care of. So what I'm saying is that we are the woman and the people that suffers it the most. At the same time, we are the one that we have a lot of gadgets inside of us that we're endowed with to be able to do the needful, so that we don't suffer what we eventually suffer. I always will tell people, that cry that you will cry in the night, cry it in the morning. Cry it in the morning. So what am I saying? The woman must understand that you don't need to be in government, you don't even need to be a security personnel to know that the start of getting secured, your family secured, is in your hand. Your senses, your antenna, your spiritual antenna, your emotional antenna, your physical antenna must be alert at all times if we must have a secure family and a secure nation.
So I'll pose the same question to you, CSP, of when have you seen women suffer when there's a security challenge?
We have that saying that whatever a woman do not nurture goes bad. And that's the summary of...
And I'm happy that's coming from a man.
That's good to the narration of the panelists about conceivement of a child and protection of the child and the family. The problem is that because of economic imbalance, because of economic deficiencies, the duties of the women has been negated because they are willing, but the problem is that the mindful efficacy is not there because of economic imbalance. And at the same time, in the open world, women are seen with children as the vulnerables. Because even if there is any situation now of an emergency here, before a woman will look for the property, the first thing will start looking is for the children. And most of the time, you see the woman becoming a victim in the course of trying to save the children, not the property. So the security as in the woman perspective is that a woman is embodiment of everything from the family before you go into the society. Because by the word nurturing, you can nurture a plant, you can nurture a human being. Even the architect by drawing nurtures the building or the infrastructure. So on the aspect of the woman, the women have a lot of job to do in order to protect the society, because the Boko Haram element, the bandit element, the criminal herdsman element, the kidnapper, like what my brother said, the Niger Delta militant, are all children and born of the woman.
Here comes a man pushing it to the woman now.
So if the woman, like what the presentation has been made, if the woman, in the course of trying to nurtures good, we have people like Ngozi Uwalo-Okonjo today, Amina of Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. But when they nurture wrongly, we have people like Anene. We have all the whole criminals and the bandits.
Lawrence Anini, not Tony Anene.
So we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk about that. So if we are talking about the woman playing the role in security, let's get to find out some more. We'll be right back.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
It is still the Woddi Women Talk Show right here, and we are glad that you're still watching. If you want to know more about Woddi, please you can go to www.woddi and you'll find out .org, and you'll find out some more about what we do and who we are. And if you want to find out more about our programs, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and you'll find out all about our programs. Still talking about security, and we have capable people in the house. And I would like to go to Brigadier General Florence Gamquist. As a uniformed woman, have you ever been in a place that you just knew that this is not a safe place for me as a uniformed woman? Like, does that place accommodate the woman?
Yeah, on many occasions, of course. On many occasions, I've been in a situation where I knew that my security is compromised. And having a military background, you are expected not even to be there when you notice that your security is compromised. So you will do the needful by either getting away from there. I'll tell you a story, just briefly. I and my driver and orderly were traveling to Abuja, Kaduna-Abuja Road. My driver was so observant that well ahead, he saw some movement that he wasn't comfortable with. He told me, "Ma'am, it looks like there is robbery." I could see a trailer parked across the road, and I see movement. Yeah, I can see somebody with a gun. And that day, we're not armed. So I told him, "Turn." So we turned, and we saw a police patrol vehicle somewhere in a filling station. We went there that we wanted to report. But I'm telling you what we saw there. I knew our security was compromised. Because we had even told them that because they saw my orderly in uniform and the driver, they were not armed. So we have compromised ourselves by telling them that we are not armed. So immediately I noticed that. I told him, I said, "Let's move out of here quick. Let's get out of here quick. We are not safe here." So we left that place, moved ahead, and when I saw others, this thing. And what I'm trying to say is that is for you to have the sense and quick understanding that your security is being compromised and you get out of that place if you know that you will not be able to counter it. Then I want to say something else about the family that I talk of, and I said I was going to talk about public health. Part of the factors that are causing the insecurity that we have in the country today is the issue of drugs. The issue of drugs. And it also still boils down to the family. If you, the mother, that God has given you that ability to be able to nurture, teach this young life that has been brought to the world, if you don't do it well, even though the women are facing, to be honest, they are facing great challenges. Women are under intense challenge that sometimes having that role of nurturing and providing for the family, it becomes difficult. A lot of women are breadwinners today. In those days, it was looked at that it's the man's responsibility to be a breadwinner. So you as the woman, you are on is to take care of the home. But a lot of women now are absent in the home. And by the time you come back from looking for bread, the child has associated with wrong people. The child has started taking drugs. Majority of the insecurity or the terrorists or the crimes that are being committed today is as a result of taking of drugs. They are drug addicts. And they are from the family. And it starts from the family. Because the children are not well taken care of from the family or not well supervised, they go into the society and they mingle. So when they are on drugs, it affects their sense of judgment, it affects their sense of reasonability. They cannot reason well. That is why they can go ahead to kill and maim and rape as they can.
Let me ask Her Excellency, being the First Lady for 8 years, I want to believe that there are some security information that you must have heard, you have heard, at a period. And You know, there's this popular belief that if you tell a woman a secret, especially when it comes to security issues, most times it is believed that it leaks from the woman. How have you been able to handle when you were in office and now being a senator's wife, hearing security information and, you know, keeping to it? I'm going to ask the colonel the same question coming from a uniform person, but let's hear from you from a politician's wife. How have you been able to do that?
Well, when you understand that you have a duty of care, being the wife of the governor is not a joke. And it's not something that you just sit in that office and think it's a jamboree. It comes with some degree of responsibility. It comes with some degree of knowing that you have duty of care to the people that God have given your husband the privilege to govern. So what that means is that you cannot be flippant. You cannot just talk anyhow. You should be able to understand what is your role, even as the wife of a governor, to be able to complement your husband. So, as it has to do with some kind of sensitive information, which probably you are privileged to hear, being the wife of the governor, you must know that it's something that must be treated with so much caution. Because anything you say, any carelessness from your own part, can put the entire state in trouble. So you must be very careful.
So now, coming from your angle, you know, you are a security person. You get home and maybe daddy asks you how was work, and you have security information. How do you handle, you know, giving out those kind of information?
Well, thank you. As a uniform woman, confidentiality of security issue is paramount to you as a uniform woman. Even if you get home and they are saying that tomorrow where your husband works, somebody will be picked there, you have no right or will to tell your husband. What you do is to protect your husband in another perspective, if he is not part of it. Because your information is key to the system, not just you. The army is a big organization, and for you to strata just a single issue to your husband being part of where the information that could help the whole Nigeria is there. It is left for you as a woman, as a mother, to give another way, to let your husband understand that if he insisted, you said it is the government thing. Because the key thing for a uniform person is to keep this confidentiality you swore the day you take an oath. And again, let me divert. I was in Maiduguri for 4 years. I entered Maiduguri 2015. And what is it all about? They say soldiers are on drugs. And being a mental health person, you need to be there. An office will be created. If today I am to go to a unit to check or to take samples, I have no... As a mother, I know there are children that they are like my children. But because we want to know, are these people borrowing confidence to fight this war? We had it. When soldiers borrow confidence on the drugs she talks about, you fight the war blindly. But when you fight the war with your clear eyes, you get it right. So what the army did at that time is, let's create an office with set of mental health people who takes the opportunity to test these soldiers. If you are on drugs, they know how to strata them out. Let the people who are not on the platform of borrowing confidence to fight the war, fight the war.
Borrowing confidence.
Again, this is your question. Confidentiality to a woman in uniform is a great thing.
There's a test going on like that. I think we should put ours together for the Nigerian army.
Not just the army,
yeah, the uniform.
all the armed forces.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The test is on drugs. There are psychologists, clinical, and the rest that are teamed to this. Why is it? There is no human being that wants to see the right thing done in life that will not think of what do I do to make this thing work, especially our young ones. They believe that just doing it ordinarily they can't get it right. But what do I take? Give me the energy to do this. So the army see it a big blow to them and decided to create this cell. Testing, even to join the service today, you will be tested. Yes.
Now, seriously, sir, she said something and it caught my attention when she said that for a woman, if she has a sensitive information, she has to find a way to protect her family, protect her husband. What are those ways coming from you that you think a woman could use to protect her immediate environment when it comes to security?
Thank you very much. From her narration, we discover that it's an action born out of training. And in the training, there is no man, no woman. Everybody are men on trouser. The training also gives you the same equal and composite ideology. And the oath of secrecy is sworn by everybody as far as you're an officer. And you know the consequence when it is not implemented rightly. In the course of your service, the family is a separate world together. Though you originated from a family. In the course of dissemination of information, we have what we call the need to know, the need to hold, and the need to hear. If you don't have the need to know, you will not be impacted with it. If you don't have the need to hold, you can even hear, but you can't hold. So when you talk about dissemination of information as regards the trained mind, who has been subjected to those different oaths, though it is not illegal oath, your duty is to comply with it, knowing the consequence, because the consequence will also affect you in the family if it is wrongly carried out. So it is meant for you and for the right end user.
Corey, you look like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, beyond these are core security professional issues. I'm going to be coming from the social aspects of it, and as it affects women. And let's term it women and children. The latest World Bank report says that Nigeria, we are 200 million population now, and 53% of Nigeria are between the age of 1 and 14. Between the age of 1 and 14 constitute 53% of the population, and between the age of 60 downward constitute about 37%. And we have only 23% who is the working population. And this working population, look at the analogy, 23%, which is almost everybody here now. Anybody that's above 60 years, 4 below, goes to the dependent ratio. Anybody between 1 and 14 goes to the dependent ratio, up and down. So the in-between, to carry the yoke of socio-economic and political evolution and revolution of this country is 23%. And this 23%, yes, just 23%. So how do we impact, train these young minds at the age of 1 and 14, who were possibly 1 year old when Goodluck Jonathan was president? And today they are beginning to step into SS1, where they will be offering government. In the next 3 years, that 18 years, begin to understand who do they see as their social problem, who do they see as their family problem, who do they see as their political problem. The responsibility lies on us. And the aged ones, that they keep aging. And as they age, they return to scale in thinking. Their thinking begin to go down like the babies. So we now have a security time bomb. Social security. That is where we need to empower women. Women empowerment, because they are the only nexus between this bridge that can do it. Then responsibility between man, political responsibility of man, and the family responsibility of man, again, to empower the woman. If we want the woman to shoulder this, give her emotional empowerment, very key. give her spiritual empowerment. She knows how to cry only when you remind her as a husband that she should cry well to God. And when a woman cries to God, God opens the heaven. Don't dare woman when she decides to cry. And you now have a generation that don't know that they have the capacity to cry.
And they go
into drugs, the borrowed
of
confidence.
crying.
The importance of crying. They now go into borrowed confidence. You go to club, you see the young girls who ought to be crying their heart out. They needed a mother. Today they are single mothers too. So they, at the age of 18, they've given birth to different children. They now seek solace in drugs outside, becoming public menace, becoming moving threats to social and political security. So the role of government and the role of man as a father, the role of father. If we push it to them, they need empowerment from us. What are we giving to them? You are going out there to harness more women, to threaten her emotionally. She has emotional imbalance. Yeah.
Comrade, I just want to add, beautiful, the woman needs to be empowered by the man, by the government, by her environment. But the woman needs to also empower herself.
Yes.
That's right.
You understand?
Exactly.
You cannot be empowered except you hunger for empowerment. Because the empowerment might be there, and you don't have the hunger, the thirst for it. To receive it will not come.
So as mothers, we need to tell also our girl child how to get the right people around you that will drive the hunger in you. When you fall a victim of a wrong man, no matter how you try, because a woman needs, that's why it's partnership from heaven. To get the right man to stand by you, even within your peer group, tell your girl child, choose to be friends to the right guys. They may not necessarily have a sexual or consensual relationship, but choose the people you mingle with as opposite sex must be people that are normal. And you see, you begin to drive such the hunger to be empowered. And when you end up with the right man too, or a man that will complement who you are, it brings out the best in you. Okojewela has a husband.
Yeah.
Have you heard them quarrel? And one is soaring like eagle. One is the brain behind the eagle. And eagle does not miss target, does not miss its target, and it does not strike twice. When eagle aim, it gets it.
That's right. All right. So we will take. And I'd like to ask the woman, dear woman, are you getting empowered? We'll take a short break, and coming up, we will look at how the woman can actually play the role of being a security for herself and the people around her. We'll be right back. It is still the Woddi Women Talkshow, and talking about security, the woman perspective. So we have some women in the studios here who would want to lend their voice on the topic. So we will let you introduce yourselves and tell us your thoughts. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm a social change agent for women and girls. Beautiful topic. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad there is a female general officers on the panel this afternoon. But basically, just a little observation. We must, from the statistic given by our brother, Comrade Haruna, that's an apt statistics for us to start working with. Like I say, thank you, Your Excellency, for giving this opportunity for us to start talking about issues, real issues affecting us in our society today. The United Nations Resolution 1325 is about women in peace process. That resolution is there. What we need to do is start keying in from the community level, at the grassroots level. There's nothing, it's not about being in the classroom, it's about talking and creating awareness and how it affects people. On a quick note, I know I'm going over my 60 seconds. In 2014, when we went round to do the Northern Women Peace Process, the first of its kind in this country, I had to go into all the traditional rulers' houses to start talking about how do they include women on the Peace Council. And there was this no reaction. But then in the process of doing that, I found out there is something called Jakadia. A Jakadia in Hausa is the woman that takes the message from the wives of the royal father to the royal father himself. So what we start doing is start advocating. Can there actually be those who go into the marketplace,
Thank you
get some
very
of
much.
this information
Thank
and
you.
bring it back to the forum?
Thank you so much. There was a hand at the back. Yes.
How does a girl child fight gender inequality? Like in the midst of young men that are very brilliant and then tend to be good achievers, and then the line they are pursuing, it's something you don't want to go into, and you feel you have the necessary capacity to achieve far more than them. How do you fight the insecurity that comes with the threat that a girl child should not rule in the race of men?
Okay. Let's get the other contributions. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Just like my sister was saying rightly, in the level of United Nations, it's already peace. Who are the peacemakers? The advocates start from home. And who is the home builder? It's the mother that gives, the womb that gives birth to children. The security we talk about starts from us. As women, we are the anchor of security. It starts from the family and it goes to the society. If I am not secured, or if I'm married to a very troublesome husband, there is no way I can achieve my aim in life. The security starts with you building yourself, you getting to know your spouses, what they want and what they do not want, you getting to know, just like she said, how to protect the good of yourself and then of your spouse. Okay? It extends to the children. When your child sees you that you're not a secured mother, forget it. You missed it. The war starts from your home. I cannot, if a mother cannot give the child an eye and he or she understands, what are we talking about? The security is just from us. Women are the key instrument to security. If Nigeria...
Thank you for that question. I tell people that as a woman, don't allow somebody dictate for you what you can do. You as a woman, what do you think you can do? Because this brought to the reason that Army created a battalion just for women. I commanded 620 women. Wow. The age of 23 to 18. And why did we do that? In the army then, you are just asked to be a tea girl, work in the kitchen, in the hospital. No. There are women that can drive this task faster than the men. So what we did was, strata this woman. What do you want to become? As a woman, if you don't identify your traits, you can't get it right. Even if there is that gender inequality. The man is a doctor, you are a doctor. But how many times were your calls given and you ran faster than the man? As a woman, wherever you find yourself, try to move faster than the man colleague. Because you all, I tell the women, you all train together. The rope, the driving, but I want you to be extra vigilant.
And my sister, and this idea of women, weaker sex, where did it even come from?
It is the law, thinking law of yourself.
So where did it come from? What is a weaker sex?
So, I think this weaker sex of a thing is, to my understanding, is the weakness of power. I'm talking of physical power, but not that power in capability. What a man can do, you can do it. But when it comes to physical power, yes.
But I'm surprised that you are saying physical power.
Yeah.
Because there are women have their.
Yeah, I know.
Very strong.
Yes,
That
I
even
know that
before-
there are.
And even before a man will talk to them, he has to actually look twice. Anyway, because of time, I will get more.
Let's get to hear from you.
My name is Dr. Aisha Lebo. As a wife of a late Major General, I just want to find out from security experts, what are you doing about the soldiers that have been in Northeast or with the bandits in Zamfara fighting? Some of them have remained there for like 3 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years. When they come back, you know, they've been living in that area, seeing all these things. Because when they get back home, their mental health cannot be the same again. So what is the armed forces doing about that? Because when they get back home, it will affect the family, the wife and the children. That's my question. Thank you.
A much is being done, especially with the armed forces, man. Actually, my 4 years there, yes, some of us got in 215 and decided to come out 218. That's a long time away from family. But again, ma, there is one thing the army, you are our wife, you know. If I'm asked to be in Burma, and Burma is where the armor is, that is where I belong. So I have to make up my mind to put it right that Burma is where my specialization remains. If I'm asked to be in Sokoto, it is because I'm an infantryman. And the only thing that can be done is a battalion. Ma'am, you were in Badagry when we moved to Ikorodu. That's the army does. Yes, it is just that we tell our uncles, we tell our neighbors that I've stayed 5 years and army refused to change me. No, in terms of the army, ma'am, it is written. It is where you choose as a corps. And again, the post-traumatic stress aspect of it, the army is working on it. There are centers. You walk into a center. And again, even if you can't walk into a center like having the veteran centers, we have a veteran center where post-traumatic stress is being treated for the retirees and for the widows.
Please, I just want to say something.
Yes.
And I just wish that a lot of people probably will have the privilege of hearing this program. Because at times, you don't know what people go through.
Yes.
What we are listening now, what I personally am hearing now, is a big eye-opener.
Yes.
It's not just that the army is doing this, or you don't know what they go through. So what they even need to be able to sustain them, or even help them to go through what they are going through, is us understanding the pressure of them, their level of sacrifice. In a word of well done, can really go a lot. A word of thank you can really go on. Yes. And because look at what Doc Ajay just said. You know, the effect of that, even to the children, to the family. And we are here, ignorant of what these people have offered themselves are going through, and we are busy criticizing them, we are busy abusing them, we are busy saying, in fact, I think the totality of the psyche of an average Nigerian must change, and this is what we are talking about. To have a platform like this where we keep talking, like I said at the beginning of this program, the problem of Nigeria is that when we talk, what are we talking? I think we need to talk, but talk what will bring us together, talk what will bring healing, talk what will make us have that great Nigeria that Africa and the world is waiting for. I think this is the essence of this.
2 minutes, let me just 1 minute. Also, maybe to say further on what she said, if you don't know, or maybe for the benefit of others, concerning the mental health of our soldiers. We were not having a behavioral medicine department in 44. As a result of that, it was created to cater for such things, because we will definitely come to see them exhibiting those tendencies. And yes, so we have a center there, not only in 44, we have also in Yaba. We have them here and there to take care of them. So now I want to say this. I observed too, I was not too comfortable with it, I must confess. During the COVID, I'm not saying people who do well should not be applauded or should not be recognized, but during the COVID, it was always televised. When, even though I belong to the medical, I still benefited from that, but I felt that there was something amiss for the military. They were showing women, but I think maybe there are some men that were clapping for the doctors, the medical professionals for COVID. Yeah, were clapping, and saying thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
But nobody has done that to the military.
And on behalf of Women of the Bandits Initiative, can we all go a minute and say to all our armed forces, thank you for the much that you are doing, and may God give you the grace to do more. Thank
not coming to the end of it, but we need to know how the woman can help, military, or the woman help her military husband feel secure at home. What role can she play to make the community feel secure? Her home, her children. What can she do?
Now we have, what we are dealing with is a women perspective.
Yes.
And we have used that word that the woman is the nurturer. Woman nurtures the husband and nurtures the children. And the children and the husband are a makeup of the society. So if a woman is empowered by care and custody, giving the woman that love, like my boss said, if your wife demands 10 naira and you only have 7 naira, you give her 7 naira and use the other 3, use a good mouth and make up the other 3 naira. Then the woman will always be willing to feel belonged. Because like what I said, what you said in nature about threat. When the woman have a threat, she begin to have a pullback. But when the woman know that there's an enabling environment, that she has been given a bigger part as somebody who is a nurturer to take care of the home, the woman will go out of her way, even when she don't have, to make sure that things go right. And whenever a woman handles the family well, you see the disposition in the man at the workplace. But when a man leaves home not being nurtured well, you will see that example that outside you got this beat into society. At times you may say that the man is a wicked man because of what he met at home.
Okay, I think the empowerment here, woman should first of all see herself as not in competition.
Yes.
Like the young lady talked about equality. That masm need to change in the 21st century.
Yes.
There is nothing like gender inequality. Rather, we are striving for gender equity. Yeah? Equality is at par. Equity is being fair. Not being at par, but being fair to each other. We are still talking of social justice now, indirectly. And like colloquially, they say, even the word no balance.
Yes.
Have you noticed when they talk? Say this life no balance. Yes. They say it in social media. So if we accept that this life no balance, only God has the right to tell us why no balance or imbalance and until the day of judgment. As we are here, we must strive to tolerate the imbalances, work together to strive justice and fairness among ourselves. And in dealing with the women, that's where men also have to come in. Deal with your wife fairly. I know what I'm talking about. I have children that are not in this country. I earn naira, I convert to dollar every month. Mommy knows. With all the whatever, the stress, I'll still send to Canada. Whether I like it or not. And I know what their mother is working and earning there. But I don't care. That is responsibility. By the time they receive that 1 naira in twin, they have sense of, now daddy brings something like this. Yes. You are creating one kind of security because she's there and I'm nurturing there. I'm not there. So whatever they have to become tomorrow, you are not. So in all this, the men should support the women. I still say it, they need our emotional support, psychological support, make every support they need. Oh, they have the best of support, they can be better than, they can do wonders.
And there's something that works magic, encouragement.
Yeah.
You have done well. Some of us are products of being lucky to have a husband who will say, oh, you were wonderful today. Even though you know yourself, you didn't really do well. And I'll tell you, that has really helped me.
Yeah. Wow. So let's get to hear from you by your final words. Just 60 seconds.
Okay. I want to say this. There are some of us women also. Maybe you are married to a man that has the capability to take care of the family, economically and otherwise. And because of this other responsibility that has been placed on a woman by virtue of your sex, or gender, let me call it this way, that you are the one that will nurture the family. That's the offspring. But you come to see some of the women when the man says, I don't want you to work. I want you to concentrate your attention on nurturing these children. As my brother rightly said here, that the societal ills start from the family. But he's saying, just be at home and make sure that you groom these children well. But she refuses, even though he's capable of catering for their needs economically and otherwise, socially or otherwise. She said, I want to be working class. And I'm telling you people, the truth is that it's difficult for you to be a working class and be able to be effectively manage the home.
But Brigadier, let me say something. That's another topic for another day. Because it's not that you spend 24/7 in the house that make you a good nurturer.
No.
In fact, just being confined in an environment for 24 hours might even make you not even know what to invite. So it's something that is, and that topic is for another day because of time.
Okay. I want to appreciate this forum, and I want to tell every woman out there, I say it always, especially to my young soldiers, who have you touched his or her life today? With this uniform you are wearing, it is not a right, but just a privilege. But who have you tried, in your own capacity as a security woman, help today? And that is what they carry along. Even on that Kaduna road, I deployed those 200 women there. When I did, somebody in this town called me and said, Susan, why do you want to endanger women? I told her that, Ma, the bandit out there, the Boko Haram out there, have one belief: they will not be killed by a woman.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I was in a hall with Boko Harams that were captured. I used to go in there to counsel them, and one told me, Madam, may God never allow a woman to shoot me. And I went into archive. I read about it. When Kaduna Road became what it is, I came back to the book and I said, let there be women on that road. Let me see these studies I'm doing, whether it is real. And really, since that February 15th, if not just these 2 days that after Kaduna and this thing happened, those women are protected that way. They are there 24 hours. So every woman inside here, if I start with you, getting concerned about your needs, about your security, we've gone a long way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And please, as the founder of Women of Divine Destiny Initiative, can I on behalf, because we need to keep practicing what we say. Can I, with your permission, on behalf of Women of Divine Destiny Initiative and every one of us that are here in Woddi Studio, say a very big thank you for honoring yourself and for telling the women that you can do it. Because unfortunately, rather not fortunately, I've heard that it's women that they put on that road, and since that time there's some degree of sanity. And I never knew that I would be fortunate to sit on this same panel with the woman behind me. I know it should be the one that will say that. Oh, it's been a wonderful.
As we come to the wrap-up of this series, please stay with us because more topics will be discussed on this platform. We have a recording going. If you want to be part of it, you can send us a message on our Instagram page and just say, Woddi, I want to be part of your audience on our TV talk show. On behalf of the executive producer of the program, Her Excellency, Dr. Newman Kiti Rogers Okorocha, and the whole crew, we say thank you, and we say a big happy birthday to His Excellency, Senator Rogers Okorocha. Can we shout a big happy birthday? Happy birthday!